everyone, welcome back to Pause and welcome back to Planet Zoo. So this is a sort of play through the beta. We're kind of having a little bit of fun with it. We're here in franchise mode and we are just working on a new zoo that we started in the last one that we've tediously called Village Zoo for now. Now I originally planned it to be like African inspired savannah type theme, but then I've just unlocked Indian, so towards the end of this video we start putting in a little bit of an Indian vibe to certain areas as well, mainly this sort of peafowl area, which is what we are putting in here. So yeah, in this episode we put in a couple of new exhibits, we put in loads of new facilities, some new buildings, a whole host of new theming pieces that we unlock. And then we breed a lot of animals, so there's a lot to take in here. There's a couple of hours worth of time lapse, so I'll try my best to talk you through as we get there, but it's going to be a little bit here, there and everywhere, so bear with me. But at the end I will do a live sort of real-time footage to show you everything we've actually done and get a little bit of a closer look at it. So as I mentioned, this is going to be the Indian peafowl area, hence why we turn this front section of the park into a little bit of an Indian inspired theme at the end. But like I said, this zoo is not going to be themed. That's what we're going to start working on once this game is out and we get Sandbox. So for now we are just testing out some bits and pieces, so don't expect this all to be a real sort of cohesive theme. It's just a little bit of everything mixed in while I sort of get used to the pieces. However, what I will say is, from unlocking the very first theme, which is the Indian one, there are some absolutely stunning pieces in that set, so I can't wait to check out all the rest of it, because honestly there is some absolute little gems in there. They really are. So yeah, it's really fun to play with all this stuff. So yeah, we put in this peafowl exhibit. As with the African dogs, we use a kind of rock structure for its habitat. I'm not really liking the wooden sort of in-game blueprint housings. They don't fit the style I'm going for with this one. It's look quite natural. If anybody in the UK that's been to Chester Zoo, that's the kind of influence I'm going for with this. It's kind of like each animal has its own kind of themed enclosure, not themed, but it's kind of authentic enclosure. The buildings and that kind of stuff are all, again, I don't want to use the word themed, but they kind of represent the country of origin, so to speak. So that's the kind of angle I'm going for with this one. Just in a bit of a smaller scale. One big thing that you'll notice in this that I didn't really consider is the bottlenecking of the paths. I really should have made them a bit wider when I first started building this, because it does get a little bit congested, but I think once we get more stuff in the park, bigger animals towards the back, I think it will spread people out a little bit. So yeah, that's something we can work on. I don't think it's the be all and end all, but it's definitely something to think about when we do our main zoo. And obviously that is the main thing with this sort of test. This is a beta for testing the game, and if I'm being honest, it's a little bit of a test for me as well to get used to it, because obviously in Planet Coaster we've been playing that for a few years. We kind of got used to the guest flow and how the cache works and all that kind of stuff. So with this we've got to kind of relearn that process. How do the guests sort of react in terms of guest flow? How do they move around the zoos and the parks and the areas? So this whole sort of beta for me is just to get used to it, so when we do get the game in November we can jump in straight away and we're pretty confident we know we're going to be able to make something nice, and then we'll start doing more of these kind of more elaborate time lapses like we've done with some of the Planet Coaster projects like World Discovery and Hysteria Valley and that kind of stuff, and we'll start a new zoo, which I'm pretty sure is what we're going to do. Start sort of like a big major Sandbox project in Planet Zoo. I think that makes sense. We'll probably play the campaign alongside that as well, so we're kind of doing both kind of parallel, but I don't know, we've still got a few months to figure that out, but I think that's the general idea for now. So yeah, you'll probably see in the title here we do get quite a little bit of issues with protesters. It's just while I'm getting used to the enclosures. There was an issue originally in this enclosure with food and heat as well. So a bit later on we do put in some coolers as well as the sprinklers, and there was just a few problems with food. I think the keepers had a little issue with filling up some of the food bowls at some point, so I moved them around and managed to get it sorted. It's still a little bit buggy with that. I can't work out if it is a bug with the game or just a bug with something I'm doing. I'm not sure yet. I'm still working on it. This little hot mess that's going on here, just get fixed in a second. I was just testing out how much you have to put in for the actual coverage, if you're wondering why I was just slapping down rocks then. I was doing it to judge on the percentage for the coverage. I was trying to see if it was done on actual coverage of floor or just based on how much sort of rock is in the air. See, basically, if you could cheese it by sticking just a load of rocks on top of each other. You can't. It is done on pure coverage, which I thought it would be. It's clever enough to work it out. So yeah, we do put in this new area. Because we've started getting the kids and more of the dogs in the enclosure, the space was running a bit low for them. So they need a little bit of more hard shelter. So in this episode, a bit later on, we do actually expand this enclosure to the left, and we put in another sort of hard shelter at the back as well. So that gives them sort of 3 areas where they can chill out and have a bit of fun. Okay, so for the rest of this one, what I'm probably going to do here is just leave you with a little bit of music while we get through this next little section. Like I say, we finish off the peafowl, and then we do start building and working on the zebras. So yeah, I'll leave you a little bit of music. Like I said, at the end of this episode, we will have a real-time portion where I'll show you around everything we've done, show you all of the little bits of theming, the little buildings and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, I'll be back shortly. Okay, so there's a load of stuff we've done today, so let's go through it. So we've added a few little Indian pieces to this entrance. Again, I know it doesn't really fit the theme of this place. There isn't really a theme, so just go with it. So there's little Indian pieces here and there. We've added a little sort of entrance structure. He's having a lovely read of that. We've added a few more little Indian pieces to our peafowl enclosure. We've now got an absolute ton of them in there, loads of babies. Our African dogs are still very popular. We've expanded the enclosure quite a bit because there's a lot of kiddos in there. So now they've now got 3 little sleeping areas and it goes all the way over that side. So that's been expanded nicely. We've also got a new toilet block here and a new sort of keeper area specifically for the peafowl. I'm going to try and do that, try and keep everything so each area's got its own kind of facilities. It's getting really busy. I wish I'd planned for this this pathway to be a little bit wider because it's getting quite a bit of a bottleneck, but it's fine. We can work with it. And then over here we've got our plains zebra or zebra, wherever you're from. We've got 2 in here at the moment. We are going to try and get some more. It's just a limitation on the sort of animal trading area. We still need to put a building here for this whole area as well, which we will do at some point. So yeah, generally we're coming on quite well. It's definitely getting to a kind of rough design what I was going for. I've got a little space here for a really small exhibit, maybe like I don't know, some kind of reptile or something. I think it'd go nicely in this little corner, and it can jump on the back of this keeper hut as well. So that's what I'm planning to put in that little square. And I'm thinking this whole sort of area here can have maybe something quite meaty, like I don't know, a hippo or an elephant or something. I think that'd be quite nice, quite fun to have a big animal at the back. So I need to draw people away from these dogs because it's getting very, very sort of claustrophobic down here. So yeah, we've done quite well actually. Let me just bring the UI back up a second because you can see that the money is actually coming in quite a lot. I was really worried at the start of this recording that I was going to lose money or wasn't going to build anything, but actually it's coming in quite well. So if we can keep this up, we should be able to get quite a successful little zoo going on here. We do still need quite a lot more facilities. We have just got the 1 chief beef and the toilet block over there. So I think as part of this new expansion at the back, we'll have a nice big building over there with some food. Maybe like a little food court area with some... well, actually I need to research some more stuff, to be honest. I'm kind of figuring out the research. I think it just pauses when the mechanics have to go off and do something else. That's what I seem to be finding. So I've hired a couple more mechanics and a couple more vets so I can get the research going nicely. My only problem now is overcrowding. At the moment they are okay because it seems as though you can't sell the little kidlets. At least I couldn't find a way to anyway. So I think you've got to wait till they grow up and then you sell them. The wild dogs, there's an absolute ton of these running around now. But again, they're okay for space. Everything's pretty happy at the moment. So I think it's a really good place to end there for today. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, don't forget to give us a like down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you've got any comments or questions, please leave me a comment on this video down below. And I'll see you in the next one. It should be out in the next couple of days. Thank you guys ever so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.